Hey everyone, welcome back to another week of Weekly Pickups with your host, Polish Gaming. Now, our first one from this week is Trade Me, and this is Twizzle333. I got a Game Boy Pocket. Now, for this one, I only paid $50. Now, I'll tell you the reason why I paid $50. $50, the screen definitely was not working. It had burn-in, which I found quite common on Game Boy Pockets. Wouldn't turn on because their batteries were actually pretty badly corroded, all the terminals. So I bought a new shell for it, and I bought new terminals for the soldered on ends. Just was the reshell once I reshelled it because the battery terminals are inside the actual physical shell. Once I put that in, that did work. So it seems like the speaker might be also blown on that one. So that's actually really cheap. I've already got a shell. I've got the contacts. I'll buy the speaker. Sad part about it is I have to buy an IPS screen for it. So that's going to be costing $70. But in saying it, I'll give it a 5 out of 5 on this week's dealer meter because of the fact that it does sit at $314.17 on price charting for a complete one. But there is one on Trade Me at the moment for $230, I believe it is. But the box is absolutely destroyed and the Game Boy looks in real bad condition. So I'll get this fixed with an IPS screen, and I'll get this for pretty much just under 150, maybe around give or take around about 140 area. So not too bad, and box is pristine. Next one here is from EB Games. Now, of course, when this came out, I saw it straight away and got it immediately. $119 from EB Games. This gets a 2.5 out of 5 at a dealer meter this week because it is exactly where it sits. That's MSRP. So stoked to get this one. Cool controller. Was a little bit gutted when the Elite 2 I found out was dropped on Xbox.com, and I didn't get that, unfortunately. But really happy to find out that you don't get it. It's just a standard Elite 2. What do they call them? The Design Lab. Basically, with the Design Lab, where you just basically get a standard kind of box that's black and it says Elite 2. And that's it. You don't get any cool design. So I was like, nah, I'm glad I didn't get that because that would have annoyed the hell out of me when I got it. Now, next one here is from a good mate Vincent of mine. Vincent. This one here, basically gave me a little bit of a bundle deal on this one, and so I think it was $125 for the bundle. Now, with this, there is 6 games in this. I worked it down to $20.83 for. Well, $20.80 for all of them. Pretty much, it is 83, whatever. Not too bad on them. But so first one here is Dragon Ball. Now this one here, of course, paid $20.80. I won't tell you what I paid for it, but on the dealer meter this week, it gets a 3 out of 5 due to the fact that it sits at $32. So not too bad, that one there for the Series X. Next one is Hogwarts Legacy. Now this one, I won't say $20.80. This one gets a 3 out of 5 as well because it sits at $35 on price charting as well. So not too bad there. And this one, I don't think he actually used the DLC. I won't show you what the code is, of course, but this one, Onyx Hippogriff Mount. And claim these bonuses when you're logging. So that's pretty cool. And next one here is a little bit of more of a obscure title for the Series X, is One Piece Odyssey. Now, this one gets a 5 out of 5 this week on a dealer meter, and because it sits at $126. Now, that is a really weird one because it's like the Oz PAL version. It says that it sits at $27, but every other version sits, and even the UK variant sits at that. You go on eBay, it sits around about that price. Now, this was pretty much the main one that I was after out of everything, but basically, like my mate Vinny said with this one, at the end of the day, they go into my collection, which he has access to at any point that he chooses, so he can come in and get the game if he wants to play it and give it a jam. So it's pretty much mine, but his in a sense as well. So. But yeah, still cool to get that one. Any One Piece is pretty hard. Now, this one here is Resident Evil 4, and this one comes with a lenticular slip cover, as you can see there. And so that one is 3.5 out of 5 on the dealer meter this week because it sits at $46.84. A bit more rarer with the slip cover, of course, because most of them have either gone or the version that comes is the Xbox One version. I think it's the Xbox One version, yeah, but that one's a little bit more. Now, next one here is where I go down. It goes down on it. So this one, Naruto, it gets a 2 out of 5 because it sits at $14.73 on price charting. So that's one of the ones that is just a little bit down, but not too bad at the end of the day. And the last but not least from Vincent here is Resident Evil 8 Village. This is a pretty cool game. This one I managed to get for, where are we here? I won't tell you what I paid for it. I would have got it for $20.80, but it's a 3 out of 5 on the dealer meter this week because it sits at $32.83. Surprisingly not too much on these Resident Evil games, except for, I was really surprised at that one. And the next one here is from Sean Paul McEwen. Now, he is from NZ Retro. First one out of the bundle here is Bard's Tale. Now, this one here I got for $10, and it sits at a 2.5 out of 5 because it sits at $9.67. Pretty close to the price that it's there for. And next one here is the Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay, which is an only on Xbox exclusive. So that's pretty cool. That one I got for $15. It sits at a 2.5 out of 5 because it sits at $15.32. Next one here is Mace Griffin Bounty Hunter. Now this one I got for $9 and it sits at a 2.5 out of 5 because on Price Chart it's $9.78. Okay, and this next one is Midway Arcade Treasures 2. Now this one is $12. And on Dealometer this week it gets a 3 out of 5 because it sits at $17.45. Next one here is Rain of Fire. Now this one here is an $11. I paid $11 for it. It sits at a 2.5 out of 5 on a Dealometer because it sits at $10.22. Last but not least from the games from Sean here is Superman, the Man of Steel. Now this one here is got for $20 and it sits at a 3 out of 5 on the Dealometer because it sits at $27.52. Not too bad. Also, absolute shout out to Sean for this one as well. He chucked this in for free. I know it's an aftermarket one, and of course you get it when there's no PlayStation logo and there's the triangles are all these weird kind of trickery things. It's weird. But it's wireless. That's pretty cool. I do have two PS2 wireless controllers, my Logitech ones, which is a Final Fantasy 12 one. Unfortunately, they don't seem to connect. I think there might be something wrong with the actual physical hub, the receiver. So I'll be sending off to my mate and seeing if he can fix them. But I just usually use a corded one. But this makes life a lot better for testing. I probably wouldn't use it for playability because when you feel it, it feels stiffer than the original controllers. And that's where you kind of get a bit of an odd raw deal on the aftermarket controllers, unless they're made like retro brawlers or stuff like this. But yeah. Still pretty cool, and translucent green, so I'm like, that's pretty wicked. So I will be playing that to test out games. Makes it a hell of a lot easier than actually having to use all the cords and having them run around everywhere. That's me for this week. Also, I thought I would mention as well, I watched Thunderbolts twice this week. I really liked it. I don't know what, if people say that's not good, I don't know what they get. Good story, good everything. You really like most of the characters most of the characters you didn't like US Agent wasn't that great, and Winter Soldier and Falcon and Winter Soldier. And this comic relief, he's hilarious. Bob, Sentry, he's amazing in it. Really cool stuff. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Really cool Marvel movie. Actually bought probably the best Marvel movie of 2025 so far, maybe even whole of 2024. So give it a watch. It's well worth it. But that's me for this week. My pickups there's quite a big pickup in terms of Wii that I'm picking up this week, which will probably be for the next week after that, because like I said, I try to keep it just strictly to 16 games in the picture, because otherwise it just becomes a little bit too clogged and gets a bit ruthless on the videos. But yeah, that's me for this week. Stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you can get notified on all my videos that come out. Still going hunting with the Pikachu. Got some Stellar Crowdy to be coming up. Got some good stuff coming up this month in terms of Pokemon. I've got an SPC from Prismatic. I've got Destined Rivals, which hits at the end of the month. I've got another ETB from Surging. I've got another Destined Rivals coming up. There's so much stuff coming from Destined Rivals, so I'm absolutely going to have fun with that. But yeah, stay tuned. Like I say, like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. I'll see you guys later. Have a good day.